The year I moved to Tucson, Arizona was one of the worst years of my life. I was 28. I was struggling with being gay and not wanting to be. I had just moved from green and verdant Western Washington, where I'm from, to this place that is just dirt and plants that hurt you. And I hated it. I hated everything about it. I thought the place was ugly and it was terrible. And then 5 years later, when I moved away, it was one of my favorite places on the planet and continues to be. And that was because I had a lot of experiences with God, with other people, that really shaped and changed who I am. And I just want to share a couple of those. When I was 29, I was living with a guy who didn't know that I was gay, and I was scared that he would find out. And one day, my friend Leanne called me just to see how I was doing. I was struggling so badly. So I walked out of my house and sat next to sat on a dusty curb by a park, and just like unloaded all these things I was feeling about this guy I had a crush on, how I felt like there was no place in this church that, for someone who was gay like me. And I cried, and she just cried with me. And as we talked, I shared with her my favorite line from Preach My Gospel, which is, all that is unfair about life can be made right through the atonement of Jesus Christ. And because she listened to me and cried with me, I said the thing that I needed to hear that day. Every time I'm in town, I drive by that curb, and I remember feeling that day that things were going to be okay. And it's a nondescript, pretty ugly part of town, but it's beautiful to me because of what happened there. Every time I'm in town, I stop by the Tucson Institute and talk to Brother Bauer, who was the first person to ever ask me to share my story. First in our Institute class, and then to the whole Institute in a devotional. And those experiences changed my life. And every time I'm here, I thank him for that. I'm always happy to drive by the Fort Lowell building, where I talked to my bishop when I had moved into the ward, and I had been asked to give a talk, and I said, is it okay if I come out in my talk? And he said, I don't see why that would be a problem. And then I did. I came out to a room full of strangers, and after my talk, there was a line of at least half a dozen people thanking me and welcoming me to the ward, and that ward became Zion to me. And right now I'm at the Tucson Temple, a place that is so special to me, and it's one of my favorite places on the planet. And this place that used to be so ugly and barren and dry and prickly to me, is one of my favorite places because of what happened here, and because of how I was treated, how I was loved, and because this is where I learned to love myself and learn that God loves me. Now, if a desert place can become beautiful to me, imagine what can happen in a building where there's carpet on the walls and we sit on metal chairs. Our churches can become places of healing too, when we listen, when we love people, and when we let them be who they are and share their stories, because that's what happened to me here. That's why I love this place, and that can happen to any place that we worship as well.